any more of a clue as to what this thing is or is not?
Still waiting for NASA to release an image, the highest resolution image with 30 kilometers per pixel. We are seeing the anti-tail, opposite to what we see in the context of comets, and now changing direction. We see some unusual composition of nickel with very little iron that we only find in industrially produced nickel alloys. If it happens to do a maneuver when it comes close to the sun, the way spacecraft do, using gravitational assist from the sun.
Because if it does a maneuver around the sun, that would show it's not a natural object, right?
Because it could be a black swan event where something that looks natural at first ends up being like a Trojan horse, you know.
At 4:12 Universal Time, inside a quiet control room tucked beneath the northern ridge of an isolated observatory, a thin blue line on a monitor suddenly spiked. No alarms, no flashing lights. Only a sharp surgical pulse cutting through the radio silence. For the researchers present, it felt like the room exhaled. Something had spoken across the void, once, cleanly, and with impossible precision. The event slipped into the system like a whisper, carrying none of the noise or chaos that usually surrounds deep space detections. It was restrained, unfriendly to chance, and as analysts would soon learn, it didn't resemble anything launched, built, or reflected by human hands. This was not a signal the world was prepared to interpret. The first anomaly arrived as a narrowband pulse barely 2 seconds long, yet its clarity unsettled the team. 3 harmonic peaks rose from the baseline, perfectly spaced, perfectly shaped. They didn't drift like aircraft reflections or tremble like atmospheric scatter. Satellites didn't behave like this either. Their signatures are messy, layered, tired from battle with ionosphere. But this pulse came through untouched, like it had crossed the cosmos inside a sealed container. Analysts checked every catalog and every internal system. Nothing matched, no instrument malfunction, no familiar footprint. It was structured, restrained, and unlike any known natural emission. 11 seconds later, across the planet and beneath another sky, a receiver in Western Australia captured the same narrowband pulse. Same length, same triple harmonic structure, same unbroken clarity. 2 hemispheres should not hear identical signatures from noise, nor from cosmic static drifting without intention. The odds dissolved into impossibility. This wasn't a coincidence. Whatever had spoken globally, cleanly enough to slice through Earth's rotation and atmosphere without distortion. And now 2 stations were seeing the same mystery, staring back at them from the same point in space. The detection was supposed to remain internal, logged quietly for peer review, but a junior technician routed the notice to a minor data relay used by enthusiasts. From there, screenshots escaped containment before anyone could react. A grainy spectrogram spread through forms. Within hours, someone extracted a crude audio version, tinny, warped, but unmistakably patterned. It traveled faster than the original signal, igniting curiosity before experts could prepare a statement. The world now heard a sound they weren't meant to hear, and speculation filled the silence left by official restraint. The early debates sharpened almost instantly. One group insisted the 3 harmonic peaks carried intentional encoding, citing their mathematical symmetry as evidence of design. Others dismissed the excitement, attributing the pattern to cosmic rays, solar chatter, or some obscure magnetospheric effect. Yet none of those explanations could justify the identical detection across 2 distant stations. The controversy grew not from certainty, but from the uncomfortable gap between the data and all familiar natural processes. Something felt deliberate, but scientific discipline demanded hesitation. NASA and the European Space Agency stepped in quickly, urging caution and denying any confirmed extraterrestrial source. Their statements were measured, technical, and deliberately cold. But behind the diplomatic language, laboratories quietly began tearing into the raw data. Request after request circulated through encrypted channels. Specialists in signal dynamics, plasma interference, and deep space telemetry were looped in without explanation. Officially, agencies claimed nothing unusual. Unofficially, the sudden mobilization of experts suggested they were preparing for an answer no one wanted to say aloud. Then, university observatories began submitting their own findings. They hadn't captured the full pulse, but they recorded faint irregularities in the same narrowband region. Elevated noise, structured shadows, weak echoes of the same harmonic spacing. These small detections didn't prove the signal was real, but they proved something was happening. A disturbance existed where silence should have been. And when unrelated instruments start whispering the same pattern, even softly the scientific world listens. The mystery had grown, reaching far beyond one anomaly. The moment the initial spectrogram screenshots hit the internet, the online world absolutely erupted. People began uploading their own waveform analyses, highlighting repeating shapes and strange harmonic shadows. Social media was suddenly packed with claims about a mysterious 3-to-3 mathematical ratio hidden inside the bursts, which some users argued pointed toward encoded information. Others pushed more extreme theories, suggesting the signal could be an ancient beacon, a dormant probe waking up, or a forgotten message finally reaching Earth. Within hours, thousands of theories flooded YouTube, Reddit, and X, each more dramatic than the last. Everything changed when a private researcher anonymously released a high-resolution, cleaned-up version of the signal. Unlike the noisy early uploads, this file revealed clear amplitude modulation inside each of the 3 peaks, something no one had noticed before. Even more astonishing, the signal repeated with an eerily precise 0.83-second silence between bursts, almost like a timing marker. Scientists scrambled to verify whether the leak was real because, if accurate, this structure represented a far more organized emission than any known cosmic transient. It instantly intensified debates across both scientific and amateur communities. As researchers dug deeper, one issue became impossible to ignore. Nothing in known astrophysics behaved this way. Fast radio bursts are unpredictable and chaotic. Pulsars, while rhythmic, operate on millisecond or multi-second cycles, not repeating sub-second modulations like this. And none show nested amplitude patterns inside their peaks. The structure detected here looked layered, intentional, and engineered rather than random. Many scientists argued that such precise internal modulation defied natural explanations, forcing the conversation away from common cosmic events and toward the uncomfortable possibility that the signal's complexity hinted at design, not chance. Word spread so fast that people around the globe began building makeshift antennas to try capturing the signal themselves. Amateur radio communities organized overnight, sharing DIY guides, coordinates, and calibration tips. Major observatories joined in, opening public live streams of their spectrogram feeds, letting millions watch for any changes in real time. The excitement grew so intense that every tiny noise, spike, often just background interference, triggered massive speculation online. It became a global event, with professionals and hobbyists united around a single question. Had humanity intercepted something we were never meant to ignore? One of the most shocking confirmations was that the pulse sat almost exactly on 1420 megahertz, the hydrogen line. This frequency is famous in SETI research because hydrogen, the universe's most abundant element, rarely emits structured radio waves at this precise point. Nature treats this frequency as a quiet channel, which is exactly why scientists consider it the perfect place to broadcast an intentional signal. The discovery immediately reinforced the importance of detection. If the transmission truly targeted the hydrogen line, many argued it was unlikely to be random and far more likely to be purposeful. When teams analyzed the clean spectrogram, they found something astonishing. All 3 peaks were spaced exactly 0.15 megahertz apart, a level of precision that static bursts or magnetar emissions simply do not produce. Cosmic noise scatters frequencies, stretches them, and warps them unpredictably. But here the spacing was razor-sharp, uniform, and mathematically consistent across multiple captures. That kind of exact frequency engineering hinted at a controlled source. For many scientists, this single feature became the strongest argument against natural origins, pushing the debate into far more controversial territory about intention and design. A deeper review revealed a faint but intriguing anomaly, a heartbeat-like modulation embedded underneath the main peaks. Some labs dismissed it as equipment noise, but others confirmed it repeatedly across independent instruments. The pattern appeared too rhythmic to ignore, a gentle rise and fall cycling at a rate that didn't match any known cosmic process. If real, it represented a secondary structure layered beneath the primary signal, almost like a carrier wave hidden inside another wave. With half the scientific community missing it and the other half insisting it was deliberate, arguments became even more heated. Early skeptics suggested the signal could simply be sunlight bouncing off 3I Atlas, tricking instruments into reading artificial-looking patterns. But that theory collapsed quickly. The object is far too small, too dark, and traveling too fast to reflect radio waves with the power detected. Calculations showed it would require reflective properties comparable to a polished metal surface hundreds of meters wide, something 3I Atlas absolutely does not have. With reflection ruled out, the mystery deepened. The emission had to originate either from the object itself or somewhere incredibly close to it. With no consensus in sight, the scientific world split into two major camps. Camp A argued that this might be a rare natural resonance event, an exotic cosmic interaction no one had ever documented before. They claimed the universe still holds surprises, and this could simply be one of them. Camp B, however, insisted the evidence pointed towards structured emission, possibly artificial, given the mathematical precision, modulation layers, and hydrogen line targeting. Conferences, forums, and research papers became battlegrounds as each side defended its theory, turning the mystery into one of the most polarizing discoveries of the decade. Global detections quickly became chaotic. The Allen Telescope Array reported absolutely no trace of the signal, fueling skepticism. But amateur radio astronomers in Chile and Finland claimed they captured nearly identical pulses matching the leaked spectrograms. This mismatch sparked fierce accusations. Some said the amateurs were picking up terrestrial interference, while others insisted major observatories were suppressing data to avoid public panic. The conflicting reports deepened confusion, making the mystery even harder to dismiss. As public interest intensified, major space agencies responded with unusual restraint. NASA issued a short statement saying there was no verifiable source for the pulses. ESA called the situation inconclusive, while China's CNSA refused to comment entirely. The strangest silence came from SETI, which normally jumps at such detections. Yet this time, they said nothing at all. Their quietness only heightened suspicion, with many wondering if agencies knew more than they were willing to reveal. Many interpreted this as a deliberate shutdown to prevent further scrutiny. Whether true or not, the outages triggered massive speculation, convincing thousands of people that critical information about the signal was being quietly hidden from the public. Researchers immediately drew parallels to the legendary 1977 WOW signal, noting striking similarities. Both were detected near the 1420 MHz hydrogen line, both were narrowband, and both appeared without warning. But the 3I Atlas signal stood out. It was even more precise, showing cleaner structure and mathematical spacing far beyond the WOW event. This comparison fueled debates, with many calling the new signal the most promising potential techno-signature ever detected by humanity. The first official scientific report finally arrived, and its wording shocked everyone. The observatory stated that the signal cannot be reconciled with any known natural mechanism. Coming from a reputable institution, this admission poured gasoline on the public frenzy. The report didn't claim the signal was artificial, but it also didn't rule it out. Instead, it emphasized the need for immediate global collaboration, which only intensified curiosity and speculation across the world. Some scientists argued that brief, one-time signals happen naturally, but many others interpreted the silence as intentional, almost like a single broadcast meant to be detected once and never again. The lack of follow-up raised unsettling questions about whether the message was already complete. Infrared telescopes then revealed faint thermal fluctuations coming from 3I Atlas, small bursts of heat escaping from beneath the surface. These readings didn't match any known behavior of comets or asteroids, which produced predictable outgassing patterns. Ultimately, the signal leaves us with more questions than answers. Mystery, not certainty, defines this moment. As 3I Atlas drifts back into darkness, we're reminded that the universe rarely explains itself. It simply speaks once and waits to see who was listening.